Welcome to Native American United Methodist Church. We're going to begin today with This is the Day. This is the day that the Lord hath made, Let us rejoice and be glad in it, This is the day that the Lord hath made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord hath made. Let us then join together in a call to worship. The foolish say, there is no God. These are the ones who do not seek to walk in a good way. The Great One looks down from the star nations to see who is wise. The Great One looks down to see who seeks after the good. I'm going to turn to number 103 in the United Methodist hymnal, Immortal, Invisible, God Only Wise. And today I want to use verses 1 through 3. Immortal, invisible, God only wise, in light inaccessible, hid from our eyes, most blessed, most glorious, the Ancient of Days, almighty, victorious, the great name we praise. Unresting, unhasting, and silent as light, nor wanting, nor wasting, thou rulest in might. Thy justice like mountains, high soaring above, thy clouds which are fountains of goodness and love. To all life thou givest, to both great and small. In all life thou livest, the true life of all. We blossom and flourish as leaves on the tree, and wither and perish, but not changeth thee. Let us then join together in a prayer of thanks and honoring, and let us pray. Blessed are those whose strength is in you, O Great One of hosts, in whose hearts are paths to your eternal land. To the four directions you display your power. Beyond the reaches of the star nations, your honor shines. Hear the stories we tell to honor your goodness as we gather before you. Receive the truths we tell of how you restore us when we wander off your path. Your way is sacred, great maker of all that is. Amen. Today we're going to turn to the 15th chapter of Luke, using verses 1 through 10. Now I'm going to again be using the First Nations version, but I want to make one caveat. One, in the First Nations version, when it comes to one of the stories, the writer, those who worked on this project, use the story of a man who loses an eagle feather. In, let's say, the New Revised Standard or the updated version of that uses a woman who has lost one of 10 silver coins. I'm going to kind of combine some of that, if you will. I'm going to use a story of a woman, but a woman who has done things of great value and has lost one. But I want to share both of those. You can look up those versions, whatever works best for you. But the meanings, I believe, are still the same. But let us hear these words. Tribal tax collectors and other outcasts would often gather around Jesus to listen to him tell his stories. But the Pharisees and the scroll keepers would complain about this. They would say things like, "This man welcomes outcasts to join him at the table and eats with them." On one of those occasions, Jesus answered them with a story. "Who among you, if you were caring for 100 sheep and one of the lambs wandered away, would you not leave the 99 and search for that lost lamb until you found it? Would you not put that lamb on your shoulders, hurry home, and invite your friends to a celebration, saying to them, 'Rejoice with me, for I have found my lost lamb'? In the same way, the spirit world above will celebrate more over one outcast who finds the way back home than for the 99 who are already safely there." Let me say it another way, he explained. There was a woman who had spent a great deal of time beating 10 regalia. They were of great value to her. One got lost. She cleaned the house thoroughly, looking everywhere until she found it. Then after she finds it, she would gather together with her friends for a great celebration. In the same way, Creator's spirit messengers will celebrate even more over one outcast who finds their way home. I want to look at this today, what I'm calling the great one goes looking. But we're going to share a very personal story, mostly just because it's from my family. Often when we think of one who is an outcast, or in other translations, they would talk about those who were sinners, those who had broken with community. We often use the term that they are lost. And we hear that terms today, even in great hymns like Amazing Grace, "I once was lost, but now I'm found." I think there's some understanding within that, as well as this sense of one being outcast from the community, viewed as outside. And we could go through and spend a lot of time on how that happens. But today I want to look at it from the way Jesus shares in these stories. And as I shared, within my family, we had kind of a saying. Often my father would say to us when my mom would say, "I think we're lost." And it was usually on some kind of a trip. But my father would often say to us, "No, we're not lost. We're just having an adventure." And truly, we would find our way home. Well, I remember on one particular occasion, my father decided he was going to take a particular, I don't know if you call it shortcut, but different way home. Part of that, I think, was it was a lot of traffic, a lot of congestion, and it was a great deal of fog. It was very difficult to see. And he thought in that case, we would go on different roads that might be a little bit lower, a little bit potentially clearer, but at the very least, we could travel at a speed he felt was safer. My father was also known for finding these interesting routes, Quite often, they were intended to save us some time, but quite often they were much more interesting, and the scenery was much nicer. I can remember even working with him and doing a variety of jobs, and he'd find ways for us to kind of go what you might call the back roads, and they would often save us some time, but the scenery was much nicer. But I share that because on this particular occasion, we went off, and it was not easy. I don't know if it's my father was not used to all the different turns and ways through a particular town. We were not then using what we have today, GPS, and I'll be honest with you, sometimes even with what seems like artificial intelligence, once in a while I kind of question the intelligence, because if you're used to a particular route, you sometimes feel like, well, I think this other is a better way. But on this particular occasion, we were driving along, and it seemed to be taking us time. We were going through areas which were very unfamiliar, at least very unfamiliar to my mom. And those of us who were kind of along for the ride weren't really worried about it, because our experience was that he had typically helped us find our way home. He was making a variety of turns, and I think really working off of a sense of, I know at least these directions lead us toward home. But I don't think was completely sure, exactly sure of the correct, or what you might call best route. But we were working, and I think we finally got home on what we really expected to be about a 30-minute trip, and it ended up being about an hour-and-a-half trip. And of course, we got home, my mom was there, well, we could have got here so much sooner if we hadn't gotten lost. And my father, true to form, said, we weren't lost. We were just having an adventure. And I think some of us in the family really took it as there was some truth, probably on both parts. Some truth, what he was sharing with us is that at least we were together. We did find our way to where we wanted to go. And in this case, we found our way home. And at least within that, we were doing it together. We didn't get, quote, so lost that we could never find our way home or never be found. And I think of those who sometimes get even lost, you say, on a hike or lost into the mountains in unfamiliar territory. And the real hope is that someone will find them. Share these ways of looking at it, because I think when we get into these stories, one of the first pieces really was this discussion, potentially even conflict between Jesus and those who thought that you needed to do things in one particular way, the right way, in order to not be lost, in order to be a part of the community or a part of the people. And when Jesus shares a story, because they, of course, begin with, look who he's eating with. Those are outcasts. Those are people who we view as lost. We don't think they're doing things in the right way. We could debate whether they should get into their histories, their backgrounds, whether they had support in order to be a part of their community. But the view was that they saw them as outcasts. Jesus, and often I hear it preached as, had come for all of us. So he is eating with them. He's sharing with them. In a sense, he saw them as fellow human beings. He saw them as relatives, as another part of the two-leggeds. So he's eating with them. I don't know if their fear was that Jesus would change in a sense and he would start doing things in not a good way. But often fear drives us. But Jesus, and I often hear it preached, was there to, quote, in their view, save them, bring them back, correct them, fix them. Maybe there's pieces to all that God is always trying to help us find a good way, the best way. And within this, their view is that these people are so lost and outcast that Jesus shouldn't be with them. They likely have a view that him being with them makes him, in their view, unclean. They had a view of clean and unclean. This is in and this is out. And if he was to be with them, he maybe would use the language that he might become contaminated. He might become unclean. There are other stories later where Jesus shares that he's there to do quite the opposite, to bring restoration to all the world. But in his eating with them, what Jesus is showing everyone is he sees them as relatives. Their concern is that they don't see them from community way of thinking, community view, or community language. They view them as outcast. Jesus views them as a relative. And in the stories he tells, I find it quite interesting that one of the things he shares is when someone had 100 sheep and loses one, what would that person do? That person would leave the 99 that are there in safety all together as community and would go off and find the one that has gotten lost. Would go off searching, go looking for that one. Or in the other story, in this translation, a man who lost an eagle feather, very valuable to him, out of the 10, would search diligently, clean the house, do everything to find that one and bring it back into sacred relationship. Or in the way I told it, the woman who had made and spent a great deal of time, so great value to her, these 10 beaded regalia. Maybe she had planned to give those away to honor others in the community, honor those coming out as a part of a particular dance and prayer. Would go searching till she found that, to bring it back into the group, to bring it back because it was of great value to her. Jesus is sharing two pieces within that. One, they're of great value, but one, they're a part of the community. And so he goes searching. Find it very interesting within it that at the end of each story, he says, heaven, the great messengers of Creator God, the heavenly ones, would celebrate greatly over one who has been lost, one outcast who has found their way back home, found their way back to community. That I think we focus on, that they have to find their way back. And I think the Pharisees viewed that in that way. They need to fix themselves, then they can come be a part of this community. Jesus, instead, in his stories, is saying, no, I'll go searching for them. I'll come looking for them. They're still mine. They're still a part of us. They're still relatives. They're still community. Let's bring them home. When they feel lost, when you think they're lost, let's go find them. Let's find the one who feels cast out and bring them back into the circle, back into the community, where they can see how we walk and care and work together. That I find interesting, fascinating, and encouraging. That when there are those who are viewed as outcast, Creator God, the presence of God's grace in Jesus the Christ, and through the power of God's great Spirit comes looking for us. I find that encouraging. Then there's another piece within this of great value. One, Jesus is sharing with them the things that they value. Whether it is a group of sheep that are of great value to them as how they make their living, what provides sustenance and care for them, or whether it be a woman who has 10 silver coins, that's value to her. That is how she takes care of herself and her family, her relatives. A man who has 10 eagle feathers of great sacred value to him. Those feathers that represent maybe a gifting to him, or those feathers which represent ways in which he prays and was reminded that the eagle carries our prayers high, high to Creator God. And my sharing, a woman who has made regalia. That regalia is of great value, and she has spent a great amount of time. And there's value in it, not only in the materials that have gone into that, but the value of her time, of her effort, of what she valued in order to give those to others, to say, you are valued, and what that would do for them. This sense of value, the Pharisees did not view those they viewed as outcasts as of value. Maybe within even the story that I told, my mom valued more getting home quicker. My father valued the adventure part of it, of us being at least together in the journey. Jesus shares that they're still of value. They're still of value to Creator God. And I think he's challenging the Pharisees, those religious leaders, who think in order to be of value, we have to always get it right. And there are times Jesus challenges them. Do you always get it right? I don't know about you, but there are times in my life's walking where I really think I'm doing things in a good way, have done them in what the world might say the right way, and it comes to find out it wasn't the right way. It wasn't a good way. Either I've hurt someone's feelings that I never intended to do, or I've done something that it really didn't end up coming together or working out the way I'd planned. Does that mean then that we're outcasts, that this relationship is totally broken and can never be put back together? Or whatever I've been working on, there's nothing that can be done out of it, versus those who view it as, hey, let's see what can be made from this. By the guidance of God's Spirit and grace, let's come up with something beautiful. We go back and say, how can I restore this relationship? Because this is of great value to me. And we find that that's really what was going on, the intent. And we create community again. Jesus is saying, Creator God goes searching. Why? Because these relatives are of value to me. They're still mine. That lamb, that sheep that you view as outcast, lost, is still one of mine. That person, the coin that feels lost, it's still one of mine. And so I'm going to go searching because it's of value to me. Again, I find that highly encouraging. Why? Because when I think of the times, and I have known of many as I listen to them, who feel devalued, or get to the place where they feel of no value. I've even heard people say, well, I might as well give up. I might as well behave this way. I might as well act like this. I might as well be one of this group. Because that's how everyone sees me anyway. That's how people view me. Nobody values me. And they have a long list of how they can go through a variety of relatives that they can either name by name or they name by category. but they're naming in a sense that they no longer feel valued. I try to think of the times when I have questioned even my own value. Am I doing something or contributing in a way that is of some value to this world, some value to the community, some value in the eyes of Creator God? What I find so encouraging within these stories, what Jesus does and shares, is he comes and eats with those that others consider outcast or lost, that they devalue. Jesus sits and shares with them in a meal, as he would with all of us. He invites them to table. But he sits with them where they are to let them know you're of value. You're still my relative, and I have come looking for you. That sense of being valued, I think we need to regain. When we feel like everything is all kind of gone awry. Or maybe that we're not sure how much God sees us in value. Or those around us have made us feel like we're not valued. I think we need to then remember the story that Creator God will come looking for us on our life's journey, our life's adventures. Or maybe we're not sure we're walking in the best way. Or maybe it seems like it's taking us much longer to get to where we want to go than maybe someone else took. And we can go through all kinds of scenarios where we begin to devalue ourselves. And we begin to believe the stories or the labels that others give to us and begin to feel devalued, begin to feel outcast, no longer a part of God's people. What Jesus shares in this story is he comes and sits with us and eats with us. And when we feel lost or of no value, what does Creator God do? In the power and presence of God's Spirit, comes searching for us. To remind us we're of value, to remind us we're still one of Creator God's people, we're still one of the two-leggeds, we're still a part of community, and we can come home. And Creator God walks home with us, welcomes us home. There are so many places in these sacred words where God is saying we're of value. God is saying we're part of that community. God welcoming us home. God goes looking for us. I take great encouragement that when I feel down, lost, outcast, Creator God will come looking for me, reminding me I am loved, reminding me I can come home, reminding me that is one who has come looking for me because I am valued. So I wonder if in our world today, if we begin to see each other in that way, began to view those that we say are not legal, or they're not a part of our community. They should be outcast in order so that they could go get fixed before they can come back to being a part of this community, this people, this village, this church, whatever label we might have. I think if we remembered that Creator God comes searching for us, that I think as those who are a part of God's community, what if we went searching for them? Find out what is it that is needed to bring us together as all the people in all the directions of the earth, all of Creator God's. What can we do that would be of benefit, of good value to everyone? So maybe rather than casting them out or hunting them down, maybe we go and find out what is of value to all of us as community. We begin to use community language. Realize that not everything is always, quote, in the best way, the fastest, the quickest, whatever way we think sometimes is of value. But come to find out that the adventure, the journey, life's walking together is value. And if we value each other, maybe we go and sit with them, have a meal with them. Show them how we think this life's walking should go. And maybe together we'll find a good way. But what I take the most courage in is that no matter what, Creator God comes searching for us. So I want to close with a beautiful, great one. Encourage you to look up the song from Jonathan Miracle, often shared from Broken Walls. I'm going to sing, in a sense, just a kind of shortened version of that. But I think you'll find a more beautiful version if you find one from Broken Walls and Jonathan Miracle. Beautiful, great one, I lift my hands to you. I lift my hands to you. Beautiful, great one, I dance before you. I dance before you. Manashe kishe manito nindish benigedua nindish benigedua. Manashe kishe manito nene midwa ki genades ki shemanito ki genades. You are holy, you are holy, beautiful, great one, you are holy. Beautiful, great one, I lift my hands to you. I lift my hands to you. Beautiful, great one, I dance before you. I dance before you. Because Creator God welcomes us into the arena so that we can lift our hands in thanks and dance our prayers, knowing Creator God comes searching for us.